Hi, everyone, and welcome to the second session of Cornering the Marketplace. This session will be focused on Walmart, a guide to selling on Walmart, and we have an amazing panel of Walmart specialists to cover some of the latest news for the marketplace and also some strategies for expansion. I'm going to post a poll really quick. So while we wait for a few people to join, just please answer the poll. A few logistics. If you have any questions, just put them in the chat box. We have resources from each of our partners that you could download to learn more information. And the recording will be sent out within 24 hours, as soon as it's recorded. So please take a moment to answer the poll.
All right, let's check out the stats. All right, I'm not so surprised. So this will be a fun webinar. Gina, we can't hear you.
With that being said, I'm going to introduce some of the speakers. So today we have a great lineup. I'll be your host, Gina Torelli from Skubana. Chad, do you mind switching to the next slide?
Not at all.
I'm your host, Gina Torelli from Skubana. We also have Chad, CEO and co-founder of Skubana, Elizabeth, who's the Senior Director of Strategic Marketplace Services at Tenuity, David, who's the Director of Strategic Partnerships at Feedonomics, and Michael, who's the Director of Sales at Deliver. So without further ado, let's get started. Chad, I'll pass it over to you to show what we'll cover.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I just want to say thank you everyone for dialing in today. We put together a lot of content that I think is unique to this time. We've been talking a lot about COVID in our previous webinars. This one's really all about how we can be leveraging other marketplaces, especially since what's been happening on Amazon. One shout out is just really about the community and the amount of partners that we brought in. Partners and our community and peers in the space are more important than ever. So I just want to take time to give a shout out to those that are joining, that are interested in just like taking action during this time. We will all get through this together, and we're here to help. So we're going to be talking today about Walmart, really about some of the things that Walmart has launched in their initiatives, about how you can be leveraging Walmart in your strategy from an advertising perspective, and then also from a product perspective and a fulfillment perspective. So we have a lot to cover today. There's a lot of great content. I'm going to put on my timer here because I think I need to make sure I'm sticking to the time. So this is actually a really interesting slide. So this is essentially the top 10 retailers in the United States and how they've shifted over the course of time. And what you'll see in the first 4 decades, you'll see Sears, and then you'll see Walmart in the final past 4 decades here. This screen actually is specifically the homepage screen of the Walmart CEO, because every day he's thinking about who's going to try to unseat us and take us over. And so what you'll see here in 2020 is that Amazon is starting to inch up closer and closer to Walmart. And I just think this is just a very important slide. But I also think that it speaks to Walmart's, like the CEO of Walmart, this is what he's thinking about all the time and how he can innovate and be on the cutting edge and on the pulse of what the consumers that are shopping at Walmart want. So Walmart has started to really make a big push into e-commerce over the course of, say, the past decade or so, specifically around their purchase of Jet.com, which I think was more so an acqui-hire of Mark Lohr. They've started to acquire brands that are more luxury to tap into a new demographic that they weren't able to tap into, along with launching their marketplace, which I think has been a really huge boon for them, which we'll talk more about. So interestingly enough, Walmart has increased the amount of products sold on their site in a big way, sort of ripping out a playbook from Amazon. Amazon really launched their marketplace and were able to offer selection like no one else because of the marketplace that they offered, that they created almost maybe 15 years ago, roughly. Walmart's just been really using that playbook to their advantage. And you can see here that there's 51 million products sold on Walmart, and 92% of them are fulfilled by marketplace sellers. So, and I think the next slide will talk more about this, whereas you'll see sellers are approaching Walmart's marketplace, but not in the same way Amazon is. Amazon has 5 million sellers across all their different properties, but roughly I think 2 million of those are on Amazon. So it's gotten hyper competitive. And so with Walmart having 38,000 sellers, I still believe this is blue ocean. There's still a very big opportunity. And I also believe that like the recent circumstances with coronavirus and COVID and Amazon's response, and we'll talk again more about this coming up, just the way that they've responded to this and they've shut off certain selection and certain FBA is creating an opportunity for a lot of merchants that I'm seeing out there. So yeah, and I think the other thing just to point out is that Walmart is 5% of e-commerce sales. Again, this is just introduction, just talking about the opportunity here. Walmart is just really positioned well given their in-store pickup, given their buying power, and given the fact that they actually have toilet paper where a lot of others don't have toilet paper right now. So they have a lot of buying power. People are still looking to Walmart as a place to go to buy products, especially as the disparity between the upper class and the lower class start to widen now that the new unemployment numbers came out with 3.5 million job loss this past month, which is unbelievable what's happening. And again, I'm super excited that everyone's joining today because there's nobody else I want to ride out this pandemic and have a webinar and certainly not cut my hair for the upcoming days and being on video, working with everybody through these issues that we're having together collectively as a community. So just speaking to Walmart, in a sense that they're always low price, they do appeal to those that are hit by the crisis the most right now. And so this is a great way to tap into the lower class or the underclass that you maybe haven't traditionally been able to tap into. And you can see here in the 13 billion annual revenue from SNAP, that's actually the revenue that's collected from food stamps from Walmart. And you can actually do that. You can actually buy your groceries using food stamps online right now and also accessing the marketplace simultaneously. So it's a really interesting opportunity, one that I think that I want to underline and make sure that everyone's very aware of, which is why we're having this webinar together. And I think that's all I want to share on this piece. They're also probably the largest employer right now. So again, as smaller businesses close, I think there was recently a stat that roughly about 40 to 50,000 small businesses have closed due to coronavirus this past month. Walmart is still remaining open. In fact, their employees are still coming to work. And of course, their marketplace is expanding and growing during this crisis. So again, they've made a lot of investments around being able to get your pharmaceutical drugs and online grocery delivery as well. They have the biggest market share in the United States from a grocery store perspective. Again, a different type of audience than I think what Amazon sellers are accustomed to. And I can't tell you how many Amazon sellers are reaching out to me saying, hey, do you know a 3PL? How can I set up a warehouse right now? These are things that are happening because everyone has invested and put all their eggs in one basket. And that basket is Amazon's basket. And now is the time for people to really take a hard look, not just of the way that they're running their life, but the way that they're running their business and ways that they can learn from this and not let it happen again. So really you want to go to where the puck is going, not where the puck is. And Sam Walton, this quote I think underlines this, is to succeed, you need to stay ahead of the change, to be in front of the change. And that's really why we're all collectively joining this webinar together today. So we're going to talk about how you're going to be expanding onto Walmart's marketplace and capturing, because I do believe this is blue ocean for a lot of those merchants that haven't embraced Amazon today. So let's dive right into it. I just shout out to Gina for organizing and coordinating all the sponsors and partners on this webinar together. Thank you for working on a lot of the slides and doing a lot of the back-end research around our point of view around selling on Walmart. My name is Chad Rubin. I am the co-founder and CEO of Skubana. I also happen to be an e-commerce brand called Think Crucial. We manufacture and sell home appliance parts. We sell across roughly 15 different channels out there. So we've been going multi-channel for a long time. And I've always looked at selling online like playing Monopoly. You want to be on every piece of the board to win. That's how you win at Monopoly. So if people land on that board, they have to pay. So, and that's how we built Skubana, really out of enabling brands to go omni-channel, multi-channel, to sell in-store, to be able to fulfill from in-store, to be able to have a 3PL and a warehouse, and to orchestrate all those orders from all the channels, forecast, demand plan, and most importantly, make sure you're making money with a little bit of automation involved as well. So this is a fascinating slide. So firstly, Amazon recently announced that they're suspending shipments of non-essential products, not allowing FBA shipments inbound that are non-essential. So my e-commerce business, which is in the home and garden category, which I view as essential, vacuum filters, air filters, pet filters, coffee filters, out of our 2,000 SKUs, 80 of those SKUs were blocked. And I can't create new listings out of it, and I can't even appeal it because Amazon is just that type of black box where they're at a certain scale where they're not allowing people to make changes to their offering because their selection is so freaking wide. You can't reclassify your SKUs, you can't change the node of your SKUs where they're classified in. And so I think what's happening now is that there's a shift where Amazon sellers, number one, are trying to figure out, how do I go FBM? How do I go fulfilled by merchant really quick? How do I find a 3PL like Deliver, for example, to do that? How do I maybe set up my own fulfillment in-house to do that? And also, hey, maybe I shouldn't have invested my entire life savings in Amazon. Maybe there's a chance that Amazon is really not a business, it's just a channel, and this allows me to open up my purview and my business to many other channels that are out there. So Walmart has a lot less sellers, much less competition, and you're not competing with the house. So I love blackjack, and I can't wait to play it in person again. But essentially, with Walmart, if you look at the blue line here, this is Walmart, the number of products that are on Walmart, and it's not a lot. And if you look at the bottom here, the orange line, it's actually first party products, meaning Walmart's competing against you. So Walmart is not here to like copy your products, imitate your products for you to compete directly with them. They're actually enabling their sellers to come join the platform and to succeed on the platform without having to compete with Walmart direct as a 1P vendor. So I think that's super interesting, especially in this crisis right now. Again, just underline the fact that I do believe you need to diversify your offering to survive. If I was even investing in many stocks, I wouldn't put everything in one stock. I'm not even investing in the market right now. I'm not here to give you feedback on the market, but essentially you want to be in many different channels to succeed. And I think for Sigmatic, I always talk about them. I think they have great landing pages. I think they have great email marketing. They have an in-store. They're selling across as many channels as possible. They're obviously advertising like crazy right now, especially given the fact that a lot of people are seeking to boost their immunity right now, their immune system. And so I love looking at what others are doing to succeed and imitating those. Instead of recreating the wheel, I want to throw some gold-plated hubcaps on that wheel and make them pop. So I like to see who's doing it really well. The other thing is that with Amazon, you don't control much. As you can see right now in this environment, you can't really control much. So there's this migration of merchants and brands, retailers are like, hey, how do I take control? How do I do seller fulfill prime really quickly? How do I get in-house fulfillment activated quickly? How do I find a 3PL to utilize quickly? And that's part of the things that we're talking about today. And part of that is actually using a software like Skubana to track and monitor your entire business and empower you to sell multi-channel. So take back your destiny, bring it back into your own hands. selling on one channel is not really a long-term viable option, especially if you're looking to sell right now. And I do believe there's going to be a lot of Amazon businesses that are looking to sell for super cheap because they've been just hit so hard by what's happening right now, and they just can't survive. One of the ways to survive is to actually be nimble, to be agile, to be quick. A lot of these brands, bigger brands, can't do that. With the right software. For example, Deliver is built right into our app store, just like Shopify has an app store. We have an app store. You can click a button, you can get started with Deliver right away and start activating your other channel strategies, which Deliver is going to talk more about later today. I don't believe that Walmart's for everybody, right? So certain brands maybe don't want to be on Walmart. Now, I would have never thought that Four Sigmatic would be embracing Walmart the way that they are, but they are, because people are looking for immunity boosters on Walmart. Now, certain premium luxury brands that have a little bit of hubris and maybe a little ego haven't wanted to embrace Walmart because they don't want to have their product seen on Walmart. But Walmart is a viable option. They're essentially tapping into certain markets that maybe a lot of these premium brands couldn't tap into initially, and will give you a slew of new audience dollars to capture during this time. So if you want to get a test, I never say just throw all your products on a specific channel because that's a lot of legwork. I believe in having a minimum viable product, meaning put your hero SKU or put the SKU that's your economy SKU, sort of the SKU that appeals to everybody on the channel, and just work on that SKU and collect data and see how the audience reacts to it. Interestingly enough, with Four Sigmatic, they actually didn't control a lot of their Walmart listings. So there's a lot of third-party sellers that are controlling their brand equity right now, and they've lost control of some of their brand on Walmart. So when you do launch your product on Walmart, you can take back how your brand exists on this channel, how people perceive it, how the titles are, how are the images that are on there, your bullet points, your descriptions, so that you make sure you don't dilute your brand during this process. But just as I encourage brands to have a presence on Amazon, I encourage brands to have a presence on Walmart and to learn and collect data from that presence. On top of that, I think now more than ever, it's really important for people to stop using spreadsheets and certainly start having an eye for variability forecasting. Right now, things are moving on the dime. Partners that join this webinar today, we ask them within hours to resculpt their slide deck and make it appropriate to what's happening with coronavirus right now versus 2 days ago or 5 days ago or 10 days ago. And that's really why it's so important to have a community and have partners that can be nimble and quick like that. And I do believe that you need to be doing that for your business today. So you need to be analyzing what are SKUs that are moving more well right now, that are our highest profit items that we want to double down on. Maybe I want those to be shown on Walmart. You need to have a process in place so that you could actually fulfill and have a 3PL like Deliver set up immediately so that you can actually capitalize on other channels and off Amazon opportunities, especially since Walmart and eBay are really poised to survive right now because they're allowing you to create new listings on their channel. So it's one way to essentially get indexed on Google really quick without having to add that to your site on Shopify or anywhere else. But most importantly, you want to make sure you're seeing what your winners are and what your losers are, doubling down on the winners and letting go of the losers, but also understanding what is your moving average of your velocity. So if you say, I want to look back in the past 30 days across all my warehouses and all my channels, what are we going to run out of stock with in the next 30, 60, or 90 days? And making sure that you're in touch with your supply chain to make that happen. Lastly, I think it's very, very important to outline a plan and to make sure that you're understanding your cost structure. I spoke about this last week on the coronavirus webinar that we did, which is essentially scenario modeling, understanding what is the best case outcome from this, the medium case and the worst case, and really trying to prep your business for those different scenarios. This virus preys on the weak and elderly and people that have lower immune systems as human beings, but it also is preying on the weak businesses right now. And right now, it's the quickest businesses that react to this that are going to be able to bounce back the quickest from this as there's a recovery in place. So you want to make sure you're recession-proofing your business right now and buckling up, because we don't know what the world is going to look like. We don't know if the stimulus package is going to do what we anticipate it to do. all we know is that there's been 3.5 million people that were let go, and I keep on having more and more conversations of more people that are being let go in this time. So that's one thing, is make sure you have a plan in place, that you're not surprised by this. You want to leverage automation as much as you possibly can. I do believe that right now, the stronger businesses are going to survive, or they're going to start taking market share and outperforming their competitors, where the competitors that don't have automation, that aren't lean, that aren't agile, are going to be really struggling with this. So making sure you're preparing for the bounce back and sort of projecting when do you think there's going to be an uptick, and you can only do that based on the moving average of your products. Right now at Skubana, for example, we're seeing a massive surge of these essentials, essential household products, computers where people are working from home. There is a lot of opportunity around the chaos that is being experienced in the retail space. Lastly, I'm a big fan of looking at M&A opportunities right now. I think things are really cheap, and they're going to start getting cheaper. So start looking at even competitors that maybe are struggling to pick up the pieces, where you can essentially take duplicative processes and pairing them together so that you're driving more top-line revenue into absolute dollars of your business. And certainly make sure you're getting an inventory management system that is nimble, that's agile, that's not painful to deploy, that can be quick to respond and help you expand from FBA to FBM, maybe even multi-channel fulfillment, enabling app partners like Deliver in the App Store that are plug and play, that aren't super cumbersome. The last thing I want to leave you with, I know I'm dropping a lot today and I'm speaking really quickly because I'm limited on time, and we have some great content to share from our partners, is that we have launched a Slack community. So right now, everyone is virtual, and essentially we are building an audience of retailers and brands only to come together to share experiences, to drop knowledge, to support each other during this time. We've got some amazing brands that are already involved, like House Beauty, Lady Gaga, or a brand, Lady Gaga's a cosmetic brand, or as you see Noah here, who's the co-founder and CEO of Nomad cell phone case company. So we've got some incredible brands that are contributing a lot of knowledge and value to the different Slack channels that we have. We'd love you to join. You can apply to join with that link right there, bit.ly/slackd2c. You can spell it that way, or you can just make everything lowercase and apply. We'd love to have more people join. We are being selective. There's a lot of people that want to join, so make sure you apply through the webinar, because this is the only place that we're actually announcing it currently. All right.